Today's breaking story, it's huge bad news for both Jeffrey Epstein's wingman and his gal pal Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, as you're about to see, October portends to be a very bad month for Ms. Maxwell. Today's breaking story from the Supreme Court could be the first of a series of cold showers of accountability. It certainly sets the stage for the October 21st release of Nobody's Girl by Virginia Giuffre, the posthumous book of revelations that could hasten the downfall of the horrible child trafficking cabal that ran straight through West Palm Beach, Florida. It also could expose the high-level perpetrators of the most unchristian of crimes. Today's breaking story is devastating for Ms. Maxwell, as you are about to see, but rather than focus on the implications for Trump or the deep cover-up Mike Johnson is providing him by shutting down the government, well, today's story, it's best savored in the context of the victims, in particular, one who suffered unspeakable horrors for the pleasure of evil people. The Supreme Court rules on the other side of this.
It was one of Virginia Giuffre's final wishes, and the publishers of her tell-all memoir say it will posthumously be released on the 21st of October. In an email to the author before she took her own life in April, the high-profile Jeffrey Epstein accuser said, quote, "It's imperative the truth is understood." And today her family has also blasted Ghislaine Maxwell's interview with the Department of Justice in the US, accusing her of rewriting history. Here is our US correspondent, Miley Hogan.
Virginia Giuffre's family is angry and upset over the US Justice Department's decision to release the transcripts from its recent interview with Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. Over 2 days last month, Epstein's former girlfriend was grilled by Deputy US Attorney General Todd Blanche, and in that interview she called this now infamous photograph fake, claiming Giuffre's allegation she was abused by Prince Andrew when she was 17 also made up.
Mind-blowingly not conceivable.
Giuffre took her own life earlier this year, her family today speaking for her, saying the Department of Justice gave Maxwell the chance to rewrite history. This travesty of justice entirely invalidates the experiences of the many brave survivors who put their safety, security and lives on the line to ensure her conviction, including our sister. Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. She maintains her innocence and is seeking a presidential pardon. More of Giuffre's story is set to be told later this year in a tell-all memoir. Her publishers saying she finished the manuscript for the 400-page book before she died. They've released an email Giuffre sent before her passing saying that it was her heartfelt wish the book be released regardless of her circumstances.
Okay, here's our breaking story today from NBC. Supreme Court rejects Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal of her criminal conviction. Maxwell was convicted for her role in recruiting and grooming girls who were sexually abused by Jeffrey Epstein. The Supreme Court on Monday rejected Ghislaine Maxwell's challenge to her criminal conviction for recruiting and grooming teenage girls for sexual abuse by Jeffrey Epstein. The decision means that Maxwell's conviction on 3 counts of her 20-year criminal sentence remain in place. The case was one in a list of dozens of appeals that piled up in recent months that the justices rejected as they started a new 9-month court term. Maxwell's lawyer, David Oscar Marcus, argued in court papers that an agreement Epstein made with then U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of Florida, Alex Acosta, not to prosecute him or potential co-conspirators should apply to one of the 3 counts in her case, which was prosecuted in New York. We are, of course, deeply disappointed that the Supreme Court declined to hear Ghislaine Maxwell's case, Marcus said in a statement, but this fight isn't over. Serious legal and factual issues remain, and we will continue to pursue every avenue available to ensure that justice is done, he added. At issue in Maxwell's appeal was whether the terms of a so-called non-prosecution agreement apply only in the district where it was negotiated, or also bind federal prosecutors nationwide. The Justice Department asked the Supreme Court to reject Maxwell's appeal, with Solicitor General D. John Sauer noting in his brief that under internal policies, the U.S. Attorney would have needed to obtain permission from superiors if the agreement were to apply outside his district. There is no evidence that that occurred, he added. Maxwell was convicted in 2022 of 3 counts relating to her role in assisting Epstein in recruiting and grooming his victims, some of whom were as young as 14 years old. She would befriend the girls and then assist in transporting them to Epstein's residences and was sometimes present when the abuse took place, prosecutors alleged. The Epstein case and Maxwell's involvement were thrust into the news again this year as the Justice Department and the FBI said that, contrary to theories promoted by some who now work in President Donald Trump's administration, there was no Epstein client list or evidence that he was blackmailing famous men. The government also said there was no doubt Epstein killed himself in 2019, pushing back on unfounded conspiracy theories suggesting he was killed. This led to a backlash against the Trump administration's approach, including from some of the president's supporters. Trump was friendly with Epstein for many years, but has said that they had a falling out sometime before the allegations against Epstein were public. In an unusual twist, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was previously a personal lawyer for Trump, then met with Maxwell for hours in an interview that had been shrouded in secrecy. Maxwell was then transferred from a prison in Florida to a lower minimum security prison camp in Texas. The Bureau of Prisons did not say why she was transferred. Trump sure has a soft spot for Ghislaine Maxwell, it would seem, but he disavows any serious connection to Epstein. Now, if you agree that something smells fishy off the Florida coast, please like, subscribe, and share, because that's what friends are for.
How close was your brother to Donald Trump?
They were very close. They were good friends. Jeffrey used to sometimes tell me things that Donald said that were funny. I know Donald was in Jeff's office a lot back in the 90s. It's documented that Donald flew on Jeff's plane a number of times. I don't know if they ever checked, but I know Jeff flew on Donald's plane also. I don't know if they've ever looked at his flight logs. And they were good friends.